Hi. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this channel we talk about top 10 lists.
A jolt and then you'll die.
Please press the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. Press like and leave a comment down below. Now just sit back and enjoy the video. In today's video we talk about 10 natural things you won't believe are actually man-made. In case we inquired you in case something was characteristic or not, there's a great chance that you just would discover it simple to reply. After all, we have well-defined thoughts of what's man-made and what's not. In the event that you burrowed a bit more profound, in spite of the fact that, you'd realize that numerous things we naturally accept to be characteristic aren't normal at all. Instead, they are the coordinate comes about of man-made activities at different focuses in history. Number 10. The Amazon. At whatever point we conversation almost the Amazon, we allude to it as an untouched tropical heaven that we're all capable for destroying. The last mentioned portion may indeed be genuine as we're completely doing that. But it's the untouched thing we nearly continuously get off base. The Amazon is the way it is absolutely due to numerous verifiable civilizations having broadly changed it with their ways of living. The thought that the Amazon was undisturbed by civilization sometime recently, the discovery of the Americas, is progressively being addressed. Within the final few decades, bounty of ponders have found that numerous differing bunches of individuals utilized to live there long sometime recently the rest of the world indeed knew it existed. These bunches totally changed the scene in their possessed ways. It can be seen most clearly within the vegetation local to the Amazon. Numerous plant species found there are alterations of their unique adaptations. Take peach palm, for case. The first natural product only weighed approximately 1 gram. In any case, the sort found within the advertised nowadays can weigh as much as 200 grams. Indeed, in spite of the fact that we think of it as an actually happening assortment of the natural product. Crops like cocoa beans and Brazil nuts were basically concocted by the diverse tribes that once lived within the Amazon. For centuries, they tamed nearby plants and crossbred them with other species. In reality, ponders are continuous as to how much effect people have had on the woodland, making us address in case any of it isn't a flawless, normal shape at all. Number 9. Pearls. There was a time when pearls were one of the rarest and most costly things we may get our hands on. As it were, a couple of seam managed to claim them. The tall cost was due somewhat to how great they seem and incompletely to the risky strategy of having to plunge to the foot of the sea to recover them. In spite of the fact that gems and other decorative pieces made of pearls are still costly, they're presently open to a part of us, indeed, in spite of the fact that they proceed to be troublesome to discover. So, what changed? In a nutshell, we figured out how to form them within the lab by imitating the normal prepare. Beyond any doubt, a little minority of pearls are still found within the sea and picked up as in ancient times. In any case, the lion's share within the showcase are refined pearls. These aren't fakes. They're made by injecting gold and silver into mollusks and duplicating the characteristic conditions within the lab, a prepare that was presented and idealized by Japanese researchers within the early 19th century. Number 8. Morning Glory Pool. On the off chance that you've ever gone by Yellowstone National Stop, you'll have come over the multicolored body of water known as the Morning Wonderfulness Pool. In spite of the fact that the stop is domestic to different hot water springs and pools spread all through its tremendous scene, this one stands out. Its special design of concentric blue, red, and yellow circles isn't found anyplace else within the park, perhaps indeed the world. It's a locate to observe, in spite of the fact that the reason has nearly nothing to do with nature. The pool was to begin with named Conviliatus after a Latin word that interprets to morning glory and portrays a worldwide family of blue blossoms. The blue at the center comes from a sort of microbes that flourishes within the warm of the pool. Be that as it may, the yellow on the outskirts is completely due to man-made reasons. Over the long time, individuals have tossed an assortment of things within the Morning Wonderfulness Pool, so a part of the warm vents have been blocked. This inevitably permitted other sorts of microbes to move in, creating the ruddy and yellow tinges at the edges that donate the pool its interesting palette. And yes, those bacteria will in the long run immerse the complete pool. That's awful news for individuals who just like the blue color as well as for those who'd like to keep the pool in its characteristic form. Number 7. Lemons. On the off chance that you don't cook a part, you likely won't realize how imperative lemons are in our day-to-day lives. From marinating meat to including a bit of flavor to most summer drinks, lemons are a flexible natural product that moreover happen to be stacked with vitamin C. In spite of the fact that its most predominant utilizes within the express when life gives you lemons, which doesn't sound like an awful thing as lemons are amazing and life is continuously welcome to deliver us more of them. In any case, in the event that we follow their beginnings, we'd realize that life never gave us lemons within the to begin with put is there not a normally happening trim. Lemons were to begin with made by people by intervene normally happening citrus assortments like acrid oranges and citron to come up with the yellow natural product that we see nowadays. It's moreover one of the foremost puzzling crops as distant as tracing its roots, in spite of the fact that it's for the most part concurred that lemons to begin with appeared up within the lower foothills of the Himalayas in Burma and Assam a few 2000 a long time prior. Number 6. Lake Mead. In the event that you've ever taken a street trip to Las Vegas, chances are that you've come over Lake Mead, a huge water body encompassed by excellent crests and crossing a tremendous region in Nevada. One of the biggest lakes within the country, Lake Mead encompasses a length of around 180 kilometers and a profundity as much as 162 meters. It's one of the most sources of water for numerous adjacent states as well as a bit of Mexico. Lake Mead moreover happens to be one of the world's biggest man-made supplies. Initially made as an outlet for all the abundance water within the Colorado River, as the darn thing utilized to keep flooding before that, the lake was to begin with shaped by the development of the Hoover Dam. Before long, Lake Mead was one of the foremost picturesque excursion spots for individuals within the encompassing states. More recently, climate alter and a serious water emergency within the region has caused it to shrivel by a bit, so it's now not the biggest man-made lake within the nation. Number 5. Vanilla. The vanilla flavor might have ended up less prevalent over time due to way better engineered tastes we are able presently create within the lab. But it was one of the rarest and most costly flavors when it was to begin with found in Mexico. Brought to Europe and the rest of the world by Spanish pioneers, vanilla was to begin with blended with chocolate and immediately demonstrated to be very well known among Europe's elites. Be that as it may, there was a issue since the vanilla plant was from Mexico. Vanilla beans wouldn't develop anyplace else as bees would deny to fertilize vanilla orchids unless they were in their local environment. When pollinated, these blooms create vanilla beans, which are the source of vanilla flavor. The issue was to begin with unraveled by Edmund Albius, a 12-year-old slave in Get Together, an island within the Indian Sea. Working beneath the supervision of a ranch proprietor, Albius figured out a way to hand-pollinate the plant, something no one else had been able to do. The two men before long took this method to other ranches. Inside a long time, the island occupants begun trading tons of vanilla around the world as the request for the pined-for plant was tall at that time. All the vanilla within the showcase nowadays is made by that method, as the bees are still very resolved almost not doing it themselves. This keeps the price low and makes vanilla accessible to everybody rather than in tip-top few. Number 4. Killer bees. In the event that you live within the Americas and have ever been exterior, chances are that you've listened of executioner bees. They take after other bee species, which are safe unless their hives are aggravated. Indeed, at that point, cases of typical bees assaulting individuals once in a while make the news. On the other hand, executioner bees have earned their notoriety by having murdered around 1,000 individuals since they were found. To begin with, you'd think all the passings were due to individuals being within the off-base put at the off-base time. Be that as it may, on the off chance that you'd perused up on the roots of these perilous stinging creepy crawlies, you'd realize that nature has nothing to do with the creation of these murdering machines. Instead, it was great ancient human error. Executioner bees were not originally found within the wild. Their exceptionally presence may be a result of a science gone appallingly off base. You see, back when European honeybees were to begin with brought to Brazil to amp up nectar generation, they weren't doing much but chilling due to the distinction in temperature. To cure that, scientists took many African honeybees to urge them to breed with the existing populaces in controlled conditions. That didn't turn out well. In 1957, a few 26 rulers from the African species at the side other European honeybees got in the way their restriction. Within a long time since, they have interbreed on their claim and gotten to be an aggressive and dangerous species we presently distinguish as executioner bees. They before long spread over South and Central America as well as most of the states within the U.S. that have a border with Mexico, seemingly all over that it's hot sufficient for them to outlive as they kick the bucket in the event that it gets as well cold. Number 3. Corn. In case you missed your tall school history classes, corn has been the foundation of American civilization since organized tribes begun appearing up over the two landmasses. It won't be an extend to say that the history of the Americas is the history of corn development. It has been an imperative portion of the economies of nearly all the foremost effective domains that ever existed here. It's indeed more astounding in case you consider the truth that corn never existed within the shape that it does presently within the wild. Instead, corn was determined by local populaces from a type of wild grass known as teosinte. This grass didn't see anything just like the maize crops we see nowadays. According to studies, native tribes started experimenting to increase the size of the cobs and kernels found on teosinte in Mexico about 6,300 years ago. After millennia of trial and error with farming and breeding methods, they stumbled upon what we now know as corn. It was then taken to places like North America by other tribes around 1,000 years ago. Even today, the crop cannot exist without human intervention and protection. Number 2. Dogs. No creature incorporates a more insinuate relationship with human creatures than the dependable canine. Too known as man's best friend, pooches are a vital portion of human life around the world in an assortment of ways, from making a difference to keep other cultivate creatures in check to sniffing out drugs at border checkpoints. In the event that we inquired you to figure where they came from, you'd likely say wild mutts. Be that as it may, the as it were known species of wild mutts doesn't have a place to the same family of species as mutts at all. So, are pooches enchantment? Not truly. All the mutts we see today, from little chihuahuas to the intimidating yet cuddly Tibetan mastiffs, descended from a single bunch of wolves at a few point in human history. Although the exact point at which dogs first appeared in our fossil records isn't clear, scientists have estimated it to be 20,000 to 40,000 years ago. Whenever it happened, we can say for sure that dogs as we know them never existed before we decided that we needed a cool animal to be friends with. Number 1. Fly geyser. The primary time you take a see at the fly geyser, a one-of-a-kind, apparently common arrangement in Nevada, it comes over as an artist's visualization of an outsider world. Very not at all like any other arrangement found on Earth, the fly fountain could be a modest, multicolored slope that reliably retches bubbling hot water all through the year. It is encompassed by patios filled with water. It would be extraordinary in case the fly fountain was a normal arrangement, but all the credit for this one goes to classic human mistake. It all begun when a geothermal vitality company bored a gap within the ground to discover hot water and inevitably turn it into vitality. They surrendered the thought when the temperature of the water was discovered to be underneath the desired level. At that point they attempted to cap the well. But they didn't totally succeed, giving way to one of the finest things that man has inadvertently made from nature. The colors are due to the green growth developing on the calcium carbonate stores, which moreover gave the spring its special funnel-shaped shape over time. Interests. The arrangement is presently a Burning Man property, which by one means or another sounds fitting in case you think approximately that is the last item on the list. So this video is going to end. Please press the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell and press the like button if you enjoyed. Leave a comment about a video idea. Be safe out there. Bye.
and then you'll die.